Alright, what is up YouTube? Welcome back to another anime live action video for you guys. I wanted to continue my string of videos talking about how anime has influenced live action films and filmmaking. So for today's video, I wanted to talk about Perfect Blue and how it has inspired the films Requiem for a Dream, as well as Black Swan. So I've got this article here that kind of goes into details about all the nitty-gritty specifics and illustrates how Perfect Blue has influenced both of those films very well. So without further ado, let's get into it. For those of you who have never heard this before, it's an issue that's been in constant debate for the past few years. Just how much was Darren Aronofsky inspired by Perfect Blue when making the very similar film Black Swan? Let's start with the facts. According to IMDb trivia, Aronofsky bought the American filming rights to Satoshi Kon's animated film Perfect Blue so that he could film the bathtub scene in A Requiem for a Dream as a homage to the one in Perfect Blue, and to a less extent also the controversial sex scene as well. Aronofsky later made the film Black Swan, which undeniably contains various similarities to the film Perfect Blue. Despite this, Darren has denied Perfect Blue being an influence when making Black Swan. Anyone who has seen both films can confirm that the backbone plot of Perfect Blue and Black Swan are considerably different, but the mood, scenes, main characters, and spirals they go through are incredibly similar. Meredith Borders gave a good comparison with slight spoilers. Quote, "Perfect Blue is a chilling psycho thriller about Mima, a young pop star who embraces the darkness within her in order to achieve her dream, becoming an actress, willing to alienate everyone who cares about her to do so. Mima has an overbearing but loving maternal figure, her manager Rumi, who doesn't approve of her new shady career choices. She is emotionally tormented by an unknown outsider who begins to destroy Mima's already tenuous grasp on reality, and Mima is soon haunted by a doppelganger who represents both her mental anguish and the duality of her soul." And you know, Black Swan is a chilling psycho thriller about Nina, a young ballet star who embraces the darkness within her in order to achieve her dream, becoming the lead player in Swan Lake. She's got an overbearing but loving mom who disapproves, emotional torment, tenuous grasp on reality, and a doppelganger who represents both her mental anguish and the duality of her soul. Check, check, and check. Several times in Black Swan, Nina rests her head against the window on the subway and is shocked to find her doppelganger staring back at her, as happens to Mima constantly throughout Perfect Blue. Reflections indeed play a big part in the visual vocabulary of both films, as do shadows, photographs, and paintings of Nina and Mima, all manipulated and skewed to represent the characters' tumultuous identities. It's not plagiarism, but it's certainly influence. You can't watch something that moves you so much and not be influenced by it forever, even if you don't consciously know it. Not to mention that some stories will have a natural path to the end, so just by having a similar lead character, it's no surprise that the two characters have similar journeys. That means that the issue becomes whether Aronofsky made the main character without ever consciously or subconsciously using Mima as the framework. It's undeniable that Black Swan was heavily influenced by Perfect Blue, but the only thing wrong with that is that Darren Aronofsky either can't see it or won't admit it. And because his eye for detail is superb, I think it's obvious that he knows he was unconsciously influenced. They're two very different movies, but I don't think Darren could have loved Perfect Blue enough to buy the rights to it yet not even think about Mima when creating Nina from Black Swan. Sadly, the more important debate at hand is why so many people still have yet to see Perfect Blue. If you thought Black Swan was a kick-ass movie, then you owe it to yourself to see an equally great psychological story unravel. Satoshi Kon will continue to be one of the most famous examples of a great mind that's unknown by the masses, only to have people become obsessed, die-hard fans after stumbling onto just a single piece of his work before his early death. Alright, so here the interviewer asked, was the film Perfect Blue an inspiration for this film? And then he responded, not really. There are similarities between the films, but it wasn't influenced by it. It really came out of Swan Lake, the ballet. We wanted to dramatize the ballet. That's why it's kind of up here and down there, because ballet is big and small in a lot of ways. So yeah, it's kind of crazy how Darren actually bought the rights to making a Perfect Blue live action film, but then I guess he decided to make his own film just heavily inspired by Perfect Blue, which makes sense. I feel like a lot of artists do just kind of copy, especially in the world of film. I can tell you, coming from film school, a lot of the professors pretty much just said, you know, take something that works, change it a little bit, and there you go. And that was a lot of kind of what frustrated me, which is why I wanted to do a lot of things that were new, and why a lot of the professors didn't really support that. But nonetheless, here we are. But yeah, it's crazy, and it's no surprise. I mean, Satoshi Kon has done some just truly amazing work. And it is unfortunate to see some people really fall in love with a lot of products of inspiration from things that he's already made, but not actually knowing like where it comes from, or, you know, that it was originally anime and you know, an anime film and stuff like that. And just to speak on this a little bit, I actually know someone, I've worked with someone in the film industry that's heavily inspired by Requiem for a Dream. That's like one of their favorite films and everything like that, and yet they actually hate anime. And it's crazy, right? It's crazy because it's like, how do you put Requiem for a Dream as like one of your favorite films, one of your biggest inspirations for films, and then it's like you also hate anime, but then also it's like literally the guy that made that film was also inspired by anime to make that film. Like one of the scenes there is literally ripped off from an anime, and it's like like it just frustrates me so much sometimes, like but yeah, that's one of the reasons why I really feel the need to make videos like this, because it's crazy how so many people in the world of film really hate on anime, and yet so much of live action filmmaking is inspired by anime. And I really feel the need to express that and show these people that, because there's really no reason to like hate on anime, especially if it inspires a lot of your favorite form of art. But yeah, Black Swan is without a doubt heavily inspired by Perfect Blue. No matter how much Aronofsky tries to deny it, it's honestly kind of sad at this point. It's so much inspired by Perfect Blue. Honestly, I would even go as to say he ripped it off, and he just doesn't want to admit it because he probably thought that no one's gonna even watch Perfect Blue in the near future, and he probably thought that anime wasn't even gonna be a thing. He's probably just like, fuck it. And to be honest, I'm sure at the time no one even knew what Perfect Blue was, because it's only really now that anime is starting to get a lot more popular and stuff like that. So I'm sure at that time when he made it, he was probably like, who cares? No one even knows what Perfect Blue is. No one's gonna know what it is, you know, whatever. He also probably just wanted to keep his integrity as an artist and didn't want to admit that, for one, he bought the rights to making a live action Perfect Blue, and for two, the fact that it was heavily inspired by Perfect Blue. But like, come on, man. But it is what it is. If you guys haven't seen Perfect Blue, definitely watch that movie. It is fantastic. I highly recommend. And yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say for this one, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below about the comparisons and similarities between Black Swan and Perfect Blue, as well as Requiem for a Dream. Leave a like on the video, subscribe if you haven't already, that helps me out a ton. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see y'all in the next video.